समाहितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्य सतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining. I'm sorry for the late. So we are reading Canto 4, Chapter 27, which says attack by Chandavega on the city of Puranjana. So as of now, we have seen that how Puranjana enjoy his with his queen and forgot the time. So that's how Jiva get engaged in either food activities or doing karma kanda activities, and eventually the death approaches. The time comes to the end. And then also we saw how Puranjana's family expanded and he become old. Yeah, so like Puranjana has many sons, daughters, and then grandsons, like that, right? So let us continue from text 13 onwards, where basically the chapter entitles Chandavega attacks. That's how he's going to attack Chandavega. Let's see what is the Chandavega is and how it relates to our own self. Yeah. Okay. Text 13. Chandavega itim ख्यातो गंधर्वार्धिपते नृप गंधर्वास्तस्य बलिना षष्ट्या उत्तरशतत्रयम्. Excuse me, Prabhu.
O king, in Gandharva Loka there is a king named Chandavega. Under him there are 360 very powerful Gandharva soldiers.
So let us see. Started saying that in the Gandharva Loka there is a king named Chandavega, and under him there are 360 very powerful Gandharva soldiers. So let us see what this is. What 360 powerful soldiers. Time is figuratively described here as Chandavega. So Prabhupada actually revealed what is Chandavega means. Chandavega is the time, right? And now we can relate what 360 is now. So since time and tide wait for no man, time is herein called Chandavega, which means very swiftly passing away. As time passes, it is calculated in terms of years. 1 year contains 360 days, and the soldiers of Chandavega herein mentioned represent these days. So time passes swiftly, and Chandavega's powerful soldiers of Gandharva Loka very swiftly carry away all the days of our life. As the sun rises and sets, it snatches away the balance of our lifespan. Thus, as each day passes, each one of us loses some of life's duration. It is therefore said that the duration of one's life cannot be saved. But if one is engaged in devotional service, his time cannot be taken away by the sun. And Prabhupada is quoting the verse, Ayur harati vai pumsam udyan astam chayan yashau. So udyan means rising, astam is setting, sunrise and sunset of sun. What happens? Ayur harati. Ayu, our word day, is being taken away of every pumsa, of every living entity. Yeah. So the conclusion is that, however, it says that if one is engaged in devotional service, his time cannot be taken away by the sun. Interesting. Let's see if there's a purport in this verse, because a question could be raised here, that how is it that time, we see even for a devotee, time is passing. I mean, his lifespan is decreasing by 1 day every day. Then how it says that it cannot be taken away by sun. So let's see, Prabhupada write some purport here, and then yeah. So let's see the purport. This verse indirectly confirms the greater importance of utilizing the human form of life to realize our lost relationship with the Supreme Lord by accelerating of the devotional service. Time and tide wait for no man, so the time is indicated by sunrise and sunset will be uselessly wasted if such time is not properly utilized for realizing identification of spiritual values. Yeah, even if a fraction of duration of life wasted cannot be compensated by any amount of gold, and human life is simply awarded to a living entity so that he can realize his spiritual identity and his permanent source of happiness. A living entity, especially the human being, is seeking happiness because happiness is the natural situation of the living entities, but he is vainly seeking happiness in the material atmosphere. A living being is constitutionally a spiritual spark of the complete whole, and happiness can be perfectly perceived in spiritual activities. The Lord is complete spirit whole, and his name, form, quality, pastimes, entourage, and personality are all identical with him. Once a person comes into contact with any one of the above mentioned energies of the Lord through the proper channel of devotional service, the door to perfection is immediately opened. Because if someone is engaged in devotional service, the door for perfection or door of liberation or door of going to back to God, that is actually opening. That is why it says, for a devotee, even if sun is rising and setting, it takes away the day and night. Through the day and night, it takes away the lifespan, but it doesn't impact the devotees because their door for liberation is actually getting up. Yeah, so that's the essence. Okay, so let's see. So the conclusion is that if one wants to make himself immortal, he should give up sense gratification, and by engaging oneself in devotional service, one can gradually enter into the eternal kingdom of the God. Mirage and other illusory things are sometimes called as Gandharvas. Our losing our lifespan is taken as advancement of age. The imperceptible passing away of the days of life is figuratively referred to in this verse as Gandharvas. As explained in the later verses, such Gandharvas are both male and female, and this indicates that both men and women lose their lifespan imperceptibly by the force of time, which is herein described as Chandavega. So basically, Puranjana, while he was being engaged with his wife, and then he got family and his grandsons, and that he forgot everything whatever time is, but the time, the Chandavega, time of the Kala approaches as a death. Yeah, let us see more. Gandharvyastadirshir मैथुनैश्च शिता परिवृत्या विलुपन्ति सर्वकामविनिर्मिताम्. Yes, Thyal Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Along with Sandavega were as many female Gandharvis as there were soldiers, and all of them repetitively plundered all the paraphernalia for sense enjoyment. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So, Chandavega has in this verse it says Gandharvas has very powerful Gandharva soldiers, and here in this verse it says there were as many female Gandharvis. So 360 Gandharvas and 360 Gandharvis. What are those? We understand it basically 360 nights and 360 days of the year. That's time. The days have been compared to the soldiers of Chandavega, and night is generally a time for sex enjoyment, and days are considered to be white and night are considered to be black. Or from another point of view, there are two kinds of nights, black nights and white nights. All these days and nights combine to pass away our lifespan, our span of life, and everything we manufacture for sense gratification. Material activity means manufacturing things for sense gratification. Scientists are conducting research to find out how we can satisfy our senses more and more elaborately. In this Kali Yuga, the demonic mentality is employed in manufacturing various machines to facilitate the process of sense gratification. There are so many machines for ordinary household activities. There are machines for washing dishes, cleaning the floor, shaving, clipping hair, and today everything is done by machine. I mean, just imagine this. This is where Prabhupada writing, I don't know, some 50, 60 years back, maybe before that, no? And now we see advancing more and more. And all these facilities for sense gratification are described in this verse as Sarva Kama Binirmitam. Or the time factor, however, is so strong that not only in our span of life expanded, but all the machines and facilities for sense gratification are deteriorating as well. Therefore, in this verse, the word bilumpanti of plundering is used, and everything is being plundered from the very beginning of our lives. This plundering of our possessions and lifespan begins with the day of our birth. One day will come when death will finish everything, and the living entity will have to enter another body to begin another chapter of life and again begin the cycle of material sense gratification. Prahlad Maharaj describes this process as Punah Punah Charvita Charananam. Materialistic life means chewing the seed again and again. And the central point of material life is sense gratification. In different types of bodies, the living entity enjoys various senses, and through creating various types of facilities, he chews the chewed. Whether squeeze sugar out of sugar cane without teeth or a machine, the result is the same, sugar cane juice. We may discover many ways to squeeze the juice out of sugar cane, but the result is the same. Yeah. So let us see the next 13-14 verse says about the uh, Chandavegas, the soldiers as the days, and the Gandharvis as the night. And there are 365 in 316 numbers as the verse says. Okay, text 15. Te Chandaveganuchara Puranjana Puram Yada Hartum Arebhir Pratyashedat Prajagara. Yeah, Rupesh Prabhu.
Prabhu, is anyone else able to read? I can just listen today if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine, Prabhu. Other Krishna Prabhu.
When King Gandharva Raj Chandavega and his followers began to plunder the city of Puranjana, a snake with 5 hoods began to defend the city.
So, can anyone recalls what are the 5 hoods we discussed earlier in the previous for the snake? No, these are basically the 5 kinds of airs propagating here as well. Yeah. So, when one is sleeping, the life air remains active in different dreams. The 5 hood of snake indicate that the life air is surrounded by 5 kinds of air known as prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. And when the body is inactive, or the prana or the life air is active, up to the age of 51, up to the age of 50, one can actively work for sense gratification, but after the 50th year, one's energy decreases. Although one can with great strain work for 2 or 3 more years, perhaps up to 55th year, thus the 55th year is generally taken by the government regulation as the final year for retirement. Yeah, and the energy which is fatigue after 50 years is figuratively described here as a serpent with 5 hooded. So basically, when the death approaches, these are the serpent. Someone struggles to have this breathing and this fight back for the life. I want more air. I want more breathing so that I can continue my life. Yeah, I think it's also the prana. I think which is called as life air. Everyone has actually got lifespan in terms of life air. So if you see, that's why the yogis, they actually live longer. The reason is that because they could hold the breathing, one breathing. So when we breathe and then we take it within our body and then we exhale it, inhale, exhale. But the yogis, they could do it for a longer time, one breathing for long, and then hence they actually lifespan of increases, and that's how the lifespan is counted as life air. Yeah. So what we discussed, the Chandavegas, the Gandharvas are the days, Gandharvis are the nights, and the time is taking away our every night and every day is being taken away from us helplessly, and at the end, the 5 withered serpent that they try to defend the life air. Text 16. Sa saptabhir sater eko Vimsatya cha satam shama Puranjana puradhyaksho ksho Gandharve yudhe vali. Sorry, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. The 5-hooded serpent, the superintendent and protector of the city of King Puranjana, fought with the Gandharvas for 100 years. He fought alone with all of them, although they numbered 720.
Yeah. So this life here is fighting, see, he just trying to defend every now and then. So if he's winning, we are alive. If he fails, then we are dead. So the 360 days and 360 nights combined become 720 soldiers of the Chandravega. One has to fight these soldiers throughout one lifespan, beginning with birth and ending with death. This fight is called a struggle for existence. And despite this struggle, however, the living entity does not die, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 2.20. The living entity is eternal. Na jayate mrite va kadashin nayam bhutva bhavita van bhuya ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano na hanyate hanyamane sarire. For the soul, there is never birth nor death, nor having once been, does he ever cease to be. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, undying, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. So actually, the living entity does not take birth, nor does he die, but he has to fight with the stringent laws of material nature throughout the entire span of his lifetime. He must also face different kinds of miserable conditions. Despite of all, the living entity, due to illusion, thinks that he is well situated in sense gratification. So let's see. Text 17. What happens now? So the five-footed serpent, they are trying to defend basically the life air is trying to defend our life, and but still time is ticking. No one can control the time, and eventually it's going off as well. Text 17. Shriyamane swasambandhe ekashmin babudir yudha chintam param jagamartha Sarashtra Purabandhava. Yes, tell Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu.
Please make sure you take
Because-
your belongings with you.
Sorry.
Asegúrate de no olvidar y dejar nada en el tren. Familiar la marcha,
Because he had to fight alone with so many soldiers, all of whom were great warriors, the serpent with 5 hoods became very weak. Seeing that his most intimate friend was weakening, King Puranjana and his friends and citizens living within the city all became very anxious. Hare Krishna.
So this is the end time of person, isn't it? So because he had to fight alone with so many soldiers, right? How many soldiers? 720 soldiers. I mean Gandharvas and Gandharvis, and every single day continues till birth till death. So this five-wooded serpent they're fighting with to keep us alive. And when seeing that his most intimate friend was weakening, the King Puranjana and his friends and citizens living within the city all become very anxious. It means basically the whole body becomes anxious in the time of death, or when nearing to death. So you say the living entity resides within the body and struggles for existence with the limbs of the body, which are referred to here as citizens and friends. Everything becomes inactive. It's become very much difficult for a person in old age to see, even to hear, even to speak, even to eat, and everything. These are called as his citizens and friends. One can struggle alone with many soldiers for some time, but not for all time. And the living entity within the body can struggle up to the limit of 100 years with good luck, but after that it is not possible to prolong the struggle. Thus the living entity submits and falls victim. In this regard, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur has sung Vruddha Kala Alo Sava Sukha Bhavalo. When one becomes old, it becomes impossible to enjoy material happiness. Generally, people think that religion and piety come at the end of life, and at this time, one generally becomes meditative and takes to some so-called yogic process to relax in the name of meditation. Meditation, however, is simply a farce for those who have enjoyed life in sense gratification. The whole life engaged with sense gratification, and then at the end thinks of, okay, let me do some meditation. Described in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, meditation, dhyana or dharana, is a difficult subject matter that one has to learn from his very youth. So to meditate, one must restrain himself from all kinds of sense gratification. Unfortunately, Meditation has now become a fashion for those who are overly addicted to sensual things, and such meditation is defeated by the struggle for existence. Sometimes such meditative process pass for transcendental meditation, and King Puranjana, the living entity, being thus victimized by the hard struggle for existence, took to transcendental meditation with his friends and relatives. So he's going on to meditate. Let us see what happens next to the Puranjana. स एव पुर्यां मधुभुक् पञ्चालेषु पार्षदैः उपनीतां बलिं गृह्णान् स्त्रीजितो नाविदद्भयम्. Yes, Gorangi Gopi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, yes, I can read. King Puranjana collected taxes in the city known as Panchala, and thus was able to engage in sexual indulgence. Being completely under the control of women, he could not understand that his life was passing away and that he was reaching the point of death.
Yeah, so as this chapter started, we saw that how King was completely engaged in enjoying the sense gratification. He was completely forgot the time. He was completely busy with so many activities of his family life, and then he got so many sons and daughters, and then grandson, like that. So his Panchala. Panchala is compared as the engagement of our five senses and for sense gratification. Yeah. So he completely forgot the time, and death is approaching. So government men, including kings, presidents, secretaries, and ministers, are in a position to utilize taxes collected from the citizens for sense gratification. I think very factual, right? In this today's world. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam that in this Kali Yuga, government men or Rajanyas and those connected with the government, as well as exalted government ministers, secretaries, presidents, will all simply collect tax for sense gratification. And the government is top heavy, and without increasing taxes, the government cannot maintain itself. When taxes are collected, they are utilized for the sense gratification of the governmental officials. Such irresponsible politicians forget that there is a time when death will come to take away all their sense gratification. Some of them are convinced that after life everything is finished, and this atheistic theory was conceived long ago by a philosopher called Charvak. And Charvak recommended that men should live very opulently by either begging, borrowing, or stealing. He also mentioned that one should not be afraid of death, the next life, the past life, or an impious life, because after the body is burned to ashes, everything is finished. This is the philosophy of those who are too much materially addicted. Yeah, such such philosophizing will not save one from danger of death, nor will it save one from an abominable afterlife. So it basically it can be a just pleasing to oneself. Oh, that's okay, let me enjoy the whole life because everything goes to ashes anyway at the death. So no one knows what's happening. But we saw in the previous verse, Prabhupada's quotes here from Bhagavad Gita 8:20, the verse when Na jayate mrityeva kadachin, the soul, there is never birth, not death. So it's just the material body which goes back to the metal element, not the soul itself. And soul takes another body And depending upon that, when the wheels, remember the wheels of the chariot in the last chapter we discussed, the suffering and happiness, the continues. Yeah. So this is basically, as the king's ignorance, he was completely forgot that death is approaching. So how can we relate this to our own self as a jiva? So the jiva, when engage himself in so much of mental activities, engages himself in so much of karma kanda activities, and forget that the real benefit he could achieve from his human life, and eventually death, or he comes to very near to the death, and then he realizes, oh my goodness, I have spent all of my life doing nothing for my special practices. Yeah. So now from text 19 there is another personality enters here. Let us see. Kalasya duhita kache trilokim varam ichchati paryatanti na bharhishman pratyanandat kaschana. Yes, Advait Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. My dear King, Prachina Varshit, at this time, the daughter of the formidable time was seeking her husband throughout the three worlds. Although no one agreed to accept her, she came. Hare Krishna.
So now what's happened? Say that we twist in the story. In due course of time, when the body becomes old and practically invalid, it is subject to jara, right? The suffering of old age. There are four basic kinds of suffering: birth, old age, disease, and death. And additionally, there are three more ways by which we get suffering, like for our own body, from the natural calamities, Adi Devik, Adi Baudik, and Adhyatmika. Yeah. And by others. So no scientist or philosopher has ever been able to make a solution to those four miserable conditions. I think Prabhupada makes many times the same point, stating that in this world we may be advanced so much, but there is no solution for these four things. And the invalidity of old age, known as jara, is figuratively explained here as the daughter of time. Yeah, who is the daughter of time? Is Kala Kanya. Yeah, Kanya means daughter, and I think Kanya means daughter, and Kala of time. The daughter of time is called Kala Kanya. So no one likes her. Yeah, certainly no one likes her, like no one likes the old age. Yeah, so no one likes her, but she is very much anxious to accept anyone as her husband. No one likes to be suffering or in the old age, but everyone has to go through this. So basically, she's very anxious, right? The daughter of time, the Kalakanya, she is very anxious to embrace or make anyone as her husband. Yeah. No one likes to become old and invalid, but this is inevitable for everyone. That is the daughter of time. Yeah, text 20. Daurabhagyenatmano loke Vishruta dubhargetisha Yatrustva rajasaryetu Vritadat purevevaram. I'll read this one. The daughter of time, Jara, was very unfortunate. And consequently, she was known as Durbhaga, ill-fated. However, she was once pleased with a great king, and because the king accepted her, she granted him a great benediction. So, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, Sava Sukha Bhagala, all kinds of happiness disappear in old age. Yeah. Consequently, no one likes old age or Jara. Thus, Jara, as the daughter of time, is known as the most unfortunate daughter. She was, however, at one time accepted by a great king, Yayati. Yeah, I think we will read this story as well. And Yayati was cursed by his father-in-law Sukracharya to accept her. And when Sukracharya's daughter was married to King Yayati, one of her friends named Sarmishta went with her. And later King Yayati became very much attached to Sarmishta, and Sukracharya's daughter complained to her father, and consequently Sukracharya cursed Yayati to become prematurely old. And King Yayati had 5 youthful sons, and he begged all his sons to exchange their youth for his old age. No one agreed except the youngest son, whose name was Pura. And when accepting Yayati's old age, Pura was given the kingdom. It is said that the 2 of Yayati's other sons, being disobedient to their father, were given kingdoms outside of India, most probably Turkey and Greece. Okay. And the purport is that one can accumulate wealth and all kinds of material opulences, but during old age, one cannot enjoy them. Although Pura attained his father's kingdom, he could not enjoy all the opulence because he actually exchanged with his father, for he had to sacrifice his youth. And one should not wait for old age in order to become Krishna conscious. Due to invalidity of old age, one cannot make progress in Krishna consciousness, however opulent he may be materially. Very important point, no? Because at old age is quite difficult. I mean, we will discuss this point tomorrow a bit, this section, and we'll see it out. Yeah, so due to invalidity of old age, I think there are so many practical examples of this, and then it becomes very difficult to actually do. Though anyone can, or there is no limit, or there is no age barrier for practicing Krishna consciousness. However, it becomes a bit difficult to practice or make progress in Krishna consciousness at old age. Yeah, we'll discuss this point tomorrow a bit more, and then we'll continue on to text 21. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining. Maybe if any questions, then we can start tomorrow with questions as well. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.